Hi, I'm SuperSocks and welcome to my little corner of the internet. I upload videos on a regular basis all about the games I love and try to tell a good old yarn in the process. If you like what you see, feel free to click on the subscribe button. It would also help me greatly if you enjoyed this video to click the thumbs up button or even the thumbs down button. For this week's video game based chat, we're going to start with Stephen King. Yep, arguably one of the most successful and prolific novelists of the last few decades. Back in 1987, Mr. King wrote a book under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. Now this book would become pretty influential, not only being adapted into a movie, which to be fair was a very loose adaptation, but in my mind was the influence for a number of books, film franchises and video games, from Battle Royale, Hunger Games, Manhunt, and even Smash TV, just to name a few. That book was called Running Man. Now why, I hear you ask, am I talking about a book that tells the story of a dystopian future where people take part in a reality show where others get enjoyment out of watching them die? Well, dear watcher, that's because I've been playing a game that is heavily influenced by this book and the movie that followed, but like the book and movie, it's bloody brilliant and you should all be playing it. Welcome to Showgunners.
Someone caught some...
Showgunners is a neon-drenched, blood-soaked, turn-based tactical combat game where you play as Scarlet, a contestant on a reality TV show that must work their way through episode after episode, taking on puzzles, traps, and aforementioned turn-based combat arenas, all overseen by the mysterious producer and cheered on by the public, baying for more and more blood. The game is a very streamlined turn-based action RPG in a similar vein to XCOM Chimera Squad. The game is split into levels or episodes. Each episode is based around a particular environment, such as a harbour area, an abandoned housing block, or even a metro station. It is then your role to guide Scarlet in third person around these maps using the WASD keys. Interspersed within these levels are the battle arenas, where the game turns into the tactical turn-based action that anyone familiar with the likes of XCOM would be used to. The maps themselves range in sizes and are relatively linear. You can follow alternate passages that may lead you towards optional battle arenas or some optional chests with rewards in them. But in the main, you are guided from one fight to the next. It reminds me of Mutant Year Zero from 2018. You know, the one, it had the anthropomorphic pig and duck in it. The turn-based battles themselves are very varied, regularly throwing more than just kill X number of enemies. You could be expected to survive waves of enemies over a number of turns, or hunt down switches to stop a bomb going off, or even fight in an arena where every door opens and closes at random. Each of these asking you to rethink how you engage that particular battle. You will also be introduced to new enemies on a regular basis that mixes things up further. Enemies with drones, sword-wielding enemies, and guys that spend all their time in a fog of war so you can't see them, and that's just to name a few. With all of these hurdles, it's good to know that you have a few tools at your disposal to deal with these enemies. Your main character is Scarlet, but across your time in the game, you will come across a variety of different characters that join your team, each with their own abilities. Scarlet in particular, as the game progresses, gets the opportunity to chain multiple actions together if you follow the right upgrade path. My favourite character, however, is Tybalt, with his ability to holographically swap bodies with an enemy so you can direct enemy fire elsewhere. Each character you meet has their own small upgrade path, which allows you to modify everyone to your playstyle. In addition, as you complete challenges and battles, you obtain fame, as well as signing autographs for fans. Yep, that's a thing. These earn you what I would call charisma points. Both of these types of points can be used to sign up sponsors. These sponsors give you long-term buffs like cheaper prices at shops or earning more money from killing enemies, etc. These are a great way to further play with your build. It has a very roguelike feel to it. There are numerous character-specific weapons you can pick up, all with their own pros and cons, as well as implants that also give your characters buffs, etc., that like slowly regenerating health or more movement in combat. In between episodes, you are sent back to a small hub where you can catch up with characters, carry out virtual interviews for bonuses, or maybe just sleep until the next episode to forward the story. Speaking of story, it is very scant, there is no denying it, but I actually felt pretty engaged during these moments of respite, wanting to know more about why Scarlet was in this literal horror show. And there were a couple of moments during the episodic sections that, without spoiling anything, did actually make me gasp with surprise, like I was actually watching a show with all its twists and turns. In terms of looks and sounds, I can't really fault this game, to be honest. All the handcrafted levels are full of post-apocalyptic darkness, blood and decay, but juxtaposed with the garish neon, the LED signs littered throughout the levels, all the flashing disco lights and fireworks, and this all really nails the whole violence and over-the-topness of this whole enterprise. Character models are great, nothing super detailed, but I appreciate the comic book style, almost but not quite cel-shaded. The lighting, I have to say, does do a lot of heavy lifting as well to make all the environments interesting and varied. The audio is equally good. All the main protagonists are fully voice acted, and very well in my opinion. All the guns sound suitably meaty, and you get just the right amount of squishiness when the proverbial claret is spilt. All of this is done to the beat of a fantastic soundtrack and the thumb of the crowd in the background. If there is one criticism that I do have in regards to the audio, it's the main commentator. I get he's supposed to be a smug American TV show host, but with the limited voice lines this guy gets, he soon wears out his welcome very quickly. And this brings me to a couple of other niggles I do have. Now I know this has not been designed to be as deep as something like XCOM, with all of its build variations and its meta base management, but I personally don't see the point of the hub area. For all the character the rest of the game has, these sections just feel a bit empty and, dare I say, quite needless. I will also say that I don't expect that I'll return to this game again. It is very much one and done type of game for me. As I said earlier, you can develop your characters and add on buffs, etc., but I feel there is not quite enough depth here to want me to return. And I can't help, there's a little niggle in the back of my mind that I feel that there are glimpses in some of the mechanics here on show that, whilst this is a great game, I think this could be an even better roguelike game. But they chose to take this down a different avenue. I will say, however, that I've not come across any bugs at all during my 15 or so hours playing with this game. Everything runs smoothly without a hitch. That being said, the camera does need to calm down sometimes. During some of the battles, I was finding the camera having a little moment, wanting to be set free like some sort of errant drone. Enemy AI is pretty good. It knows how to flank and manoeuvre. It does tend towards an over-reliance of using the Overwatch mechanic. The whole percentage chances when it comes to taking your shots don't feel too unfair, and there doesn't seem to be nearly as many of those XCOM miss on a 90% hit chance situation. The only caveat I will say is I played the game on hard difficulty and on normal difficulty, and I found on hard there seemed to be some sort of shenanigans going on when it came to the AI understanding full and half cover, in the fact that on harder difficulties the enemy just seems to downright ignore that you're in full cover, whereas on lower difficulties it doesn't. And this kind of comes across as a little bit, to me, unfair. I would appreciate it that if a game is going to be more difficult, then it's down to, you know, the enemy, more enemies, etc, etc, not just the fact that you're in full cover and the enemies can ignore that. So that seems a little bit off to me. But what can I say? These niggles at the end of the day did not really do enough to ruin my experience with Showgunners. For me, this was brilliant and a wonderful surprise. A lovely mix of a couple of different genres with great tactical combat, great visuals, and even more impressively, a varied campaign that kept me wanting to push on when the going got tough. If you have a spare £20 or so, and you are a fan of turn-based tactical combat, I cannot recommend this highly enough. But what do you guys think? Have you played Showgunners? What are your likes, dislikes? Feel free to tell me your thoughts in the comments below. And if you liked what you've seen, please feel free to give that subscribe button a little tickle. Thank you for watching, everyone, it means a lot to me, and I'll see you soon. Take care, bye for now.